Because of real threats, ISIS and terrorism, they were both at center stage at the GOP debate last night. Now, the candidates each arguing why he or she should be your next commander-in-chief and the one who can destroy ISIS.
Margaret Thatcher once said, if you want something talked about, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
One of the things that you'll notice if you look through my life is that I don't do a lot of talking. I do a lot of doing. Right now, the United States of America is the patient, and the patient is in critical condition.
Are you ready to reassure Republicans tonight that you will run as a Republican and abide by the decision of the Republicans?
I really am. I'll be honest. I really am. I will tell you, I am totally committed to the Republican Party. I feel very honored to be the front runner. And
if I'm elected president, we will secure the border. We will triple the Border Patrol. We will build a wall that works, and I'll get Donald Trump to pay for it.
I'll build it. I want a strong border. I do want a wall. Walls do work. You just have to speak to the folks in Israel. Walls work. If they're properly constructed, I know how to build.
I promise you, the next time there is an attack on this country, the first thing people are going to want to know is, why didn't we know about it and why didn't we stop it? And the answer better not be because we didn't have access to records or information that would have allowed us to identify these killers before they attacked.
I think Marco gets it completely wrong here. We are not any safer through the bulk collection of all Americans' records. In fact, I think we're less safe. We get so distracted by all of the information, we're not spending enough time getting specific information on terrorists. The other thing is the one thing that might have stopped Senator Bernardino, that might have stopped 9/11, would have been stricter controls on those who came here. And Marco has opposed at every point increased security, border security for those who come to our country.
I want to talk to the audience at home for a second. If your eyes are glazing over like mine, this is what it's like to be on the floor of the United States Senate. I mean, endless debates about how many angels on the head of a pin from people who've never had to make a consequential decision in an executive position. The fact is, for 7 years, I had to make these decisions after 9/11.
Frankly, it's time that we punch the Russians in the nose. They've gotten away with too much in this world, and we need to stand up against them.
There's a real danger when people get distracted by peripheral issues. They get distracted by democracy building. They get distracted about military conflicts. We need to focus on defeating jihadism. ISIS and Iran have declared war on America, and we need a commander-in-chief who will do everything necessary to keep our children safe.
Thank you, Senator.
And I will do everything necessary to keep our children safe.
Thank you.
So how did the GOP candidates do with those answers? Former New Hampshire Governor John Sununu goes on the record. Good evening, sir.
Evening. How are you, Greta?
Good. Governor, if you were to put a headline on last night's GOP debate, what would it be?
Reince Priebus wins. He got a good debate, and he got another firm commitment from Donald Trump that he's not going to run as a third-party candidate. If you needed a second headline, it's that a number of the candidates came in with specific agendas and I think succeeded in establishing long-term markers on those agendas.
What did you learn from the debate about the candidates?
Well, I think it was pretty clear that Ted Cruz came in to point out that Marco Rubio's problems on details on immigration. Marco wanted to make sure that the public involved in the process understood that Ted Cruz voted against the defense budgets and cast a vote to weaken our intelligence on terrorists. I think the most interesting long-term marker, though, was Jebb's, where he pointed out that if folks want to be serious about ISIS and everybody but Paul there actually feel that we ought to have troops on the ground. Bush pointed out that if you want the formula that most support, 90% from our Islamic allies, 10% American, you better stop using blanket condemnation of those Islamic allies. And I think Christie made his point again that he's a decider, that he's ready to act, and that his experience as governor is important. I think those four guys came in with specific tasks that they saw were long-term markers, and I think they both laid them pretty well.
All right. I love watching the debates. They're fascinating. But you are in New Hampshire, former governor of New Hampshire. Tell me, do you think the debates make any difference in making up the minds of the people of New Hampshire, or do they just want to talk to them on the ground?
I don't think people make up their minds as a result of the debate per se. but I think the debate allows issues to be given emphasis by the candidates that they then follow up when they come up here. So we've got a ton of them coming up in the next week and a half, just before Christmas. There'll be a pause between Christmas and New Year's, but in this next week and a half, I suspect the candidates will be emphasizing those points that I indicated that they pointed out during the debate last night.
And, of course, you even have a Saturday night, a Democratic debate in New Hampshire on ABC News, so you got a lot going on in that state. Governor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.